Hey guys, welcome to the show. If you'd like to support this channel, there are PayPal and Patreon links in the info box below. We got I don't know what's going to happen show today for you. It's just an open discussion. We'll see how it goes. Nothing's planned. Let's see who we got in the breach. The beautiful Betty Von Lovely. How's it going today, Betty?
It's not Von, it's Van.
Vaughn.
No, Van.
Fun.
Van Velsen. Yeah, Van Velsen. Yeah, you can say it that way.
Betty Van Velsen.
Yeah, yes.
No way.
Yeah, that's how you pronounce it.
It is so strange. I didn't know that. How many years we known each other?
Too many that you should know. Right?
So say it correctly for everyone out in the audience.
Van Velsen.
Van Velsen. So the V is actually an F?
Oh no. Because then would be Velsen instead of Velsen.
So Van Velsen. It's like a
Somebody
mix.
posted it in the chat.
Is it like a mix between an F and a V?
Yeah, I pronounce it now a little bit more pronounced because it's more like the A. Yeah, we pronounce the A like an A.
Okay, what does that have to do with your name? It's O, Von, V-O-N.
No, it's not V-O-N, it's V-A-N. That's what I'm trying to
Oh, okay. Sorry about that, you're right.
Because if it was V-O-N, I would be of German descent, right?
That's deep.
Mm-hmm. There is a distinction between Dutch and German.
Yes, there is. Yeah. This is what the show is going to be on. The distinction between Dutch and German.
Oh my God.
So
we should get some Germans in here, huh?
Yeah, I'm sure they'll come. So just some differences, light differences between Germans and Dutch, because it's close. The languages are closely related, right?
Yeah, they are. But you can say certain things in Dutch and it would not translate to German, and the other way around. Some things are distinctly different.
For instance,
I can't give an example. Yeah, there is something with the word slim, for example, although we have that word also in Dutch a little bit. The word slim means smart in Dutch, but in German it means now I have to translate that to English. Not that bad, sort of. That's slim. That's not that bad. That's slim. That's not that bad.
Slim mean that's not that bad. See, that's why. Yeah. That's why it's important to define words, right? Not only to have a discussion between people who speak the same language, but for people of different languages, correct?
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, you could say that it's sort of like it began with an accent, I think, and then it sort of got worse over time, right? People in certain areas would speak more to one another than to other areas, and then it sort of gets a distinct features to the language. Because some words resemble also Danish, but they pronounce it differently, for example. And we have many words also that are in English the same, but you pronounce it different.
For example?
Whoa, now you have to put me on the spot, huh?
That's the point of the show.
I think that I heard today someone say, but that the word blatant, for example, you can say blatant and blatant, and it means the same thing. Although I think that many of the words that we use in Dutch, the normal sort of folk don't use, but they are sort of higher echelon words, and you can use them in Dutch, but in English they use them continually. So it's strange. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks
Fair
for
enough.
coming, guys. That's all we got. This is where we're starting out. We're just gonna let it roll. You know what? When we first talked about doing one of these shows, I was a bit apprehensive. Now I kind of look forward to them, right? Because you don't know what's gonna happen, who's gonna show up.
Yeah. How do I sound, by the way? I have my headset on this time.
Yeah. I was gonna say you do sound different, but yeah, you sound good. It's really good. I'm not getting an echo.
Yeah, I usually echo. I don't know why that is, but it is on a laptop that makes it do it, I think.
Well, ask the folks out in Chatland, how does Betty sound out there? I'm not monitoring. I hardly ever monitor the chat, guys. I just got too much stuff going on right here. But Betty's monitoring. How does she sound out there?
Sounds good. Good, I hear. It's good. Okay, that's good. It's blatantly good.
Yeah, I had to be a wise guy, right?
And fine. Someone said fine.
So what else is going on out there in Flatland? Anything come to mind? Anything new?
From me or
No.
from someone else?
In Flatland, because you frequent these.
I live in Flatland. It's called the Netherlands.
I'm talking about anything in the community, anything new. I've noticed one thing that's somewhat new, and I'm just feeling my way through, see if anyone else has noticed it. So I'll ask a whole bunch of people here. We have. What about you, Betty? We'll start off with you. Anything new from the from our community? That's both communities, by the way.
Community. Both communities?
Yeah, both communities. The Baltard spinning space monkey community and, the Flatland community.
Flatland community. Well, I can't say that I monitor more what's going on in the world now. I must be honest. So
Okay, fair enough.
So I might not be up to date with the flat Earth debate.
That's the darn problem.
Well, there was an eclipse recently that I did watch. It was amazing because it had a really nice ring around it, and they call it the Ring of Fire.
That's what Johnny Cash called it.
Yeah, well, he was a biblical man, wasn't he? When he started out.
Yes, somewhat. Yep.
Yeah, I do think that these people up on the elite sort of people, they use these kinds of signs for their own good or spells, basically. So,
oh no! Woo!
yes.
Look at your time.
Look at the time. There's a lot of this programming in movies nowadays with these eclipses and stuff. There's going to be a moon eclipse soon. I think it's on the 4th of July.
Really?
Times.
In the United States, or where's it going to be?
I think it's in an yeah, because I think that you can see a moon eclipse for a longer time than a sun eclipse. But I'm not really aware of that. But yeah. And I think it's not a. You seem to have differences in moon eclipses too, and in sun eclipses. I never knew. I thought an eclipse was an eclipse, right?
Yeah, there's many different types, right?
Yeah, I think that this eclipse was special of the sun eclipsing, being eclipsed by the moon was special because of the moon being smaller than the sun, which gives you a ring of fire around it. And I think that the special thing about the moon eclipse is that it is not in the real shadow of what they say according to their narrative, of course, not in the real dark space of the shadow, but in the penumbra or something. How do they call that? I don't like
the penumbra.
Yeah, in the beginning, the foreshadow of the Earth, making the shadow on that moon.
The foreskin of the penumbra?
I'm making a sort of a mess with this.
No, that's okay. It's cool. It's cool. We were just talking about this on shout out to 24/7. I see Jose, I'll get with you in a second, man. Thanks for coming. Jose Mesa over on 24/7. This was a big discussion. They have a new room over there. They call it the Arena, Thunderdome, right? It's for advanced discussions between flat earthers and baltards. You know, we're not talking about, have you ever been to the edge and walked off? You know, more advanced arguments. And I was listening last night because I was doing something else in the background, and this subject came up about eclipses. And the main point that one of the flat earthers brought up was a Sentinelian, right?
Yeah.
And you should see the stepping and fetching going on with that.
Okay, what did they make of it then?
I can't remember all the excuses, but they were making stuff up left and right. I was just shaking my head. I mean, I think
was that the moon was refracted of the sun.
No, you're close. One that really stood out was that because the sun and the moon are both above the horizon, somebody said that the sunlight was going through the atmosphere of the earth and then refracting a shadow onto the moon. I was like, what? So that one stood out. And I just toned everything out after that, I think, because it went on for a good, I'm thinking 90 minutes. It might have been longer. I don't know if Jose was in there. What's up, Jose?
Hey, what's good, QE? No, I haven't been in there. I'm actually on vacation right now, staying at my parents' house. Came to visit them for the week. I hopped on just to, be a little bit supportive, hop on for a little bit. But to be honest, I've not been on 24/7 for the past week.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I missed you over there. Yeah. Where are you at, roughly?
Roughly, I'm in Palmdale, California right now. Just about an hour north of Los Angeles.
I think I've been there before. That's where your parents live?
Yeah, that's where my parents live. It's like 30 minutes away from Edwards Air Force Base.
Yeah. I've been through there. Yep, that sounds very familiar. Yeah. Yep. Cool. How's the weather out there, man?
Hot. Desert. 102 degrees. But what I love about it, I hear, is that it's dry heat. So if you're under shade, you're cool. It's only when you're in the asphalt that you feel it.
That is so ironic because Betty and I were just talking about that yesterday. Weren't we, Betty?
Yeah, about degrees in Fahrenheit and Celsius.
Yeah, degrees in Fahrenheit and Celsius, and what type of heat was unbearable. And
yeah.
Well, it depends on moisture, I believe, because I've been to Virginia because my girlfriend's in the military, so we travel around through the states a lot. And we were stationed in New Jersey. New Jersey was just cold and hot, but Virginia was so humid. It was like 90 degrees, but it felt like 110 to me just because of the humidity. So humidity makes, for me at least, the heat worse. Even though it's like the degrees are lower, it feels worse just because of the humidity.
Exactly. Right. That's what we were talking about. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't matter. If it's hot for me, and I melt, basically. It was really bad. When I was in Cyprus, you have that dry heat over there, and it was bad, man. I'm not equipped to be in a hot spot, to be honest.
Yeah, but it's a different type of heat, right? Because we were talking about, because I was in the Mojave for 5 years, and some days it would get up to 125 degrees. But even though it's hot, listen, I'm not saying that's not hot. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying it's different because I lived in Louisiana. Ironically, Dave Rocky had just jumped in. I lived in Louisiana, and like an 80-degree day down there, I'd rather spend 125 degrees in the desert than 80 degrees with high humidity in Louisiana. No doubt about it. Right?
Yeah, I think there is some difference, of course. I think in my country is that if it's really hot here, then the humidity is more, right? So it's unbearable, and it gets into the houses, which are quite good isolated, insulated, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't get the heat out anymore, right? So you need air conditioning, and not everybody has air conditioning.
I actually had a bad experience with that, like, because I used to play soccer when I was younger. I was about 16 years old, right? And our soccer team did so well, and they were making a California team because they were doing this big tournament in Hawaii, right? And what they were doing is they were picking like the best players of California to make like a California team. So I was mixed in with people from like all over California, right? Like I was the captain of the team. I was 16 years old. We went to. I was in the best shape of my life, by the way. I could play 3 games in the desert and last all 3 games. You know, not be tired. I was so fit. I went to Hawaii, played 20 minutes of running out there. I was done. I was done.
But is it also the height? Maybe. I mean, I think that if you're living on
It
a
could
higher
be the
plane,
height, but I'll tell you what. As soon as I got out, I felt like I couldn't breathe in Hawaii. That's how humid it was there.
yeah. But
Hawaii's a different animal. Ironically, I was in Hawaii too. The things that jump out there are not only the heat, because sometimes it gets pretty oppressive, but the thing that stood out there was compound rainbows. What are we gonna do today? What? Let's go to the beach.
Rainbows.
It got pretty tiring after a year and a half. About, hey, what are we gonna do? Let's go to the beach. So I got island fever on. I'm not an island person, man. But
what is a compound rainbow?
You get rainbows stacked on top of each other. They call it the rainbow state for a good reason.
Okay, so then you're in the rain, right?
Oh yeah, it rains. They have a spot. I was just talking about this yesterday too. They have a spot on Oahu that receives, I think, the second most rainfall annually per year. That's where they have the RIP course, Ranger Indoctrination Program. Yeah, coincidentally, where it rains the damn most. But we were talking about that. Yeah.
They did that on purpose.
We're not going to get into QE Army stories today, no. But no. The other thing that stands out are centipedes, man. They got centipedes from hell there. And centipedes and mongoose. They got mongoose till the cows come home. They used to come and steal my frigging lunch out of my rucksack.
Do they eat the centipedes too?
Centipedes are creatures from hell.
Yeah, but who eats those?
No,
I mean, there must be a natural enemy for those things.
I
right?
don't know. I wasn't doing any biology there. I was just trying to stay the furthest I could away from them.
Well, right? Wouldn't that be on the beach?
Yeah, they wouldn't go near the beach. They'd be in the wood. They'd be in the wood line. Yeah, you wouldn't see any centipedes on the beaches, no. But the real exciting thing there in Hawaii is obviously the North Shore, right? You got Waimea Bay, which is just friggin' awesome, right? And right up the street from Waimea is the pipeline. So as a kid, I always used to watch Hawaii 5-0. I liked the waves that were coming in. So going there and seeing that's really funny, right? Because they call new people that arrive on the island, because everyone's fish belly white, all the tourists. The lifeguards there up on the North Shore, they go on high alert. They call them Hollies, right? And obviously I was a Holly, and I remember first walking on the beach, and I could see their ears and their eyes are pinned right on me, like, you're not going to go in that water, are you, Holly? Nope, I wasn't. And I never did. Because the cool thing about Hawaii on the North Shore is that the continental shelf is so close, right, that the waves, you can almost touch them. They're so close. It's not like in California where you're riding the waves out. You got to go pretty far out. Not in Hawaii. It's like, it seems like it's so weird. It's almost you can touch them. And they were so dangerous, right? When there were storms offshore, that's when they have the big surfing tournaments. So we used to always go up there and watch the surfing tournaments, man. Those people are absolutely crazy. You should see the size of these waves. They're like friggin' skyscrapers. And these guys are riding these waves. It was breathtaking. But back to the point, I would never, ever, I don't think I touched the water on the North Shore. But
swimming in Hawaii is dangerous. I'll tell you why, Q. When I was out there with my soccer tournament, after the games, we'd go to the beach, all of us. And obviously we were tourists there, so we didn't know where you could swim. And me and my friends just jumped in the ocean, and we went really far because we were in Honolulu, and where we were at, literally you could walk so far, and the water was still to your belly.
Yeah,
it would take forever for you to get to the deep end where I was at. And we finally went to where the ships were, and we were swimming, and we're like, all right, let's go back. And we couldn't leave that. We were stuck spinning our wheels in mud. We couldn't get out. We're like, what the hell's going on? And then a lifeguard comes and saves us because we were literally out there swimming for like 30 minutes to the point where I got a cramp.
Yep.
I started drowning, and my friend had me on his back. And the lifeguard just came in. He's like, "You tourist." He's like, "You can't swim here. There's like whirlpools right here."
Yeah. And
so I'm like, whoa, shit.
yeah, they got dangerous riptides in Hawaii at certain spots. Yep. And your friendly neighborhood tiger sharks. Yeah, I'm not into that, man. It's just me. I did some body surfing on the Air Force side. I think it was not on the North Shore, but it was on, am I going to say the east side where it's more calmer, but you have to watch out for the tiger sharks over there, man. Hawaii was unique, but it's a good place to visit, but I wouldn't live there.
It's so far away from everything also, right? Yeah, I mean, it's
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm surprised that there's some land over there.
Yeah, but it's a real unique culture. You can also go to the Big Island, right? You got Mauna Kea and Mauna Loa. And then you have the Volcanoes National Park I went through. That's really cool. I don't know about now since Kilauea has been acting up. But when I was there, you can walk over spots and watch the lava right underneath your feet.
That would be kind of hot.
Yeah, and you got to be careful too. They must have like people cornered the market on shoes because your shoes wear out so bad because you're walking over that lava rock. It just chews up the soles. I had a really good pair of military boots, right? And after 3 weeks, I had to toss them because the soles were ruined. That's how bad it is to walk on the volcanic rock. Yeah.
Did you have to pay for them yourself, or do you get those?
I had to pay for these myself.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, but that's another long story about boots. I don't know how we got here.
because of the weather, you know. I remember that we had a nice hypothesis back in the day when summer, then air conditioning.
If summer, then
air conditioning.
If winter,
then heater. Right?
Dave, you can't talk. I'm sorry, man. I just got your message. Wait 1 second.
I got him unmuted.
Okay. What do you got to say, Dave?
I'd like to know what light is.
That's what I figured your question was. You don't know? Why don't you tell us? I'm sure you got some answers. You've been asking that question for, 4 weeks now? Month?
The lack of darkness. Hey, yeah, Hawaii's cool. Hanama Bay, where you used to be able to feed the fish. We'd bring bags of peas out there and feed the fish while we were snorkeling, but I think they put a stop to that, all the environmental.
What bay was that?
Hanama Bay.
Hanama
it's
Bay?
On the Air Force side of Honolulu.
It's on the what side?
It's on the Air Force side of Honolulu. You fly into Honolulu.
Yeah. That's the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, my sister lived on that side. Her husband was in the Air Force. We would go over there and visit. But yeah, Hanama Bay was cool. But the North Shore is right near there too. Just incredible.
Yeah, if you have a bucket list, you got to stop by the North Shore. Try to pick a time when there's a storm offshore. Look out. Just look out.
You want to do that?
Well, you want the storm offshore, not onshore, number one, because you get the really big waves. You don't have to go in the water. That's it. Yeah, I didn't say anything about that.
And why would that be on my bucket list then?
Because it's just breathtaking. There's only I don't know if there's any other. I'm sure there's other pipelines, but none like that. I don't think.
Bring your own AC, Betty. There's not many ACs on the island.
Okay.
And sugar cane, pineapples,
Sugar cane everywhere.
Pineapples and sugar cane, man.
Bananas.
Bananas.
They have natural banana trees.
Banana trees, boy. Hey, Adam's there. What's up, sir?
Evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Hey, Adam.
Fucking weather. It's hot here.
Yeah,
here, which
Same here.
gives me a point of attack. fair. It's very rare you get to have a challenge at QE. From
You
a
gonna-
bit of science, but
Really? You're
Yeah, I'm
gonna
gonna
try?
have
You're
fun.
gonna try to attack me on this show?
on your own show. Hey, boiling here, right?
That's
No
the
air
one.
conditioning. Don't tell me it's not summer.
So did you like our
You could've picked the
hypotheses?
one.
Yeah, I was thinking. See a small hole in this.
Well, point it out, Adam, and then let's see where the hole is.
Excuse me. Hey,
So we say if summer, then air conditioning.
oh,
What do
wait,
you
how
say?
many sheds count? I suppose that's your only get out.
I'll tell you
Maybe-
what. The reason why we brought it up is because when the subject first come up, I was down for the friggin' count. I mean, I was laughing so hard it hurt. Right? I can't give you the background of the discussion. It's just we ended up there, and I said, "Well, if summer." It was done, and then we came up with if winter about 20 minutes later, and I had to hang up. Good old times, man. Good old times. All right, now back to the question: is there anything new in the? You guys thought I forgot about the question, didn't you? I bet you did.
Mhm.
Is there anything new in the communities? You know, the spinning ball-tard space monkey community and the flat Earth community. Is there anything new that anyone's been hearing on the waves?
I think no.
Well, I've seen on Facebook, because I have a Facebook account. I saw MC Toon did like I don't know if it's old or how new, but I just came across it just the other day. MC Toon has this list for rotation that I've been wanting to send to you because I want you to, have your belly laughing at it. I'll send it to you right now, and I don't know if you want to discuss that now or later, but that's something that I wanted you to take a look at.
Go ahead. You're gonna send it over Discord. I'll take a brief look at it.
Yeah, I'll take a look. I'll send it right now. 1 sec.
Okay. There's something I'm fishing for here, and I've been trying to push the ball-tard community to this position for about 4 years now. Right from the beginning, I tried to push them there, but it's been like, pulling teeth to get them to parrot the correct pseudoscience. I'm giving you guys way too many hints.
Well, we got a couple of flat earthers in here. Can I see if anyone wants to add something? Maybe.
Yeah, maybe they know what I'm talking about.
Okay, and that's Brian's logic.
What's up,
Can
Brian?
you add something? I don't think that he is going to talk. And then we got Deacon Frost. Hello?
Yeah, you don't want me to talk, trust me.
Well, you already did.
It's just too late.
Too late, yeah. We got Flat All. I think you're a Glober, aren't you?
Flat Al.
Yeah, Flat Owl.
Yeah, not flat all. Pronounce
Oh, well,
pronounce the
Yeah.
A correctly.
sorry.
Neil.
Yeah, Neil. What's up? In New York region.
Neil, you're off mute, but we can't hear you, brother.
I think he's trying, but
We heard him before the show. Hey, jump out, jump back in, man. Presumption equal reality. I love that dichotomy. What's up?
Yo, just eat.
You're just eating.
Yeah.
What
well,
you
then you
eating?
can talk.
Wait a second. What you eating?
Spaghetti.
Spaghetti. Look, that's what I'm talking about. All right, continue. No problem.
Not prawn.
Rakia. I got
But
a
some
warm-
people seem to have troubles in Discord, I think.
I'm having problems with OBS.
Oh?
Yeah, I'm getting some warnings and stuff. I wonder why. That's the first time that ever happened. Talk to anyone out there in chat. Are they getting some turbulence?
Let's see if they tell me that. No, I don't see any people responding to that, so it might still be on.
Any turbulence in the broadcast?
Seems alright.
Huh.
Someone says a little bit. It's a bit choppy, someone says.
Just a little choppy.
All good now.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No more warnings. Hopefully that'll
someone says no spin here.
Hopefully that'll resolve itself. That's the first time I've ever seen a warning like that come from OBS. I got 2 quick ones.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Now we got you, Neil.
Okay, you can't call that guy MC Toon because he's not worthy of the MC title. It's Mick Toons. That's number 1.
What's number 2?
My friend lived in Hawaii. He said some of the waves are like 12, 13 feet high, and you surf them.
12, 13 feet high. That's, yeah, I tell you what, they're a lot bigger than that. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, he would show me stories, and I'd be like, "There's no way there is a wave that high."
Neil,
And
you're
you gotta
breaking up.
know what you're doing.
Neil, you're breaking up real bad, man. Chopping.
Want to hear that?
I know you don't want to hear it, but yeah, that's what's happening. So we'll get back to you, man. You might want to jump back in again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, what do we got? Rakia Life. Do you know what I'm talking about with the new thing here? I gave you guys some big hints. What's up? Thanks, Rakia. Ratio Swan.
Throw those hints around again, because I'm late joining. I'm panicking here.
All right, listen. There's something new in the communities that I've been trying to get them to more or less parrot. Even though it's pseudoscience, it's still the wrong pseudoscience, but I've been trying to get them to parrot this because I was the one that first come out here. I was the one when ballers, when you hear somebody say, well, which gravity? Just look over. That's me smiling. All right. That's from me. You're welcome. Right. So I might as well just tell you, because now I'm hearing just little inklings of people going towards Einstein's relativity. After 4 years, it's about time. Come on, let's everyone jump on that bandwagon, because your Newtonian gravity's friggin' done for. It's been done for about 100 years, probably longer. Ever since he put it out, it was done. Technically. But I've been hearing Einstein. They're moving to Einstein. I'm loving it. Yeah? No? Maybe?
Are we?
Yeah, I heard it. I think I forgot where I saw this, or someone sent it to me, but I saw Brenda talking about Einstein and not mass attracting mass, which I don't know if the person discussed mass attracting mass before or always used Einstein, but that person was talking about, space-time curvature.
Sweet.
Mm-hmm.
So I want them to pick up that stick and start whipping it around. That's what I've been waiting for. We got you covered, man. But it's good that you finally have. Go ahead.
So I'm looking forward to that, mate. I can't wait to have the argument as to why that's the case, that my heart has to pump, not because of any form of relative density, but because my head is in the future.
Yeah. It's going to be fun. This next year is going to be fun. You got the Black Swan, and then you guys parrot and Einstein. Most of you people don't even know what Einstein's general relativity says, right? You definitely don't know the equations, the field equations, right? I have yet to see, somebody posted a research paper today to answer a question. I'm like, what? This doesn't even answer a damn question, right? About
Hard to know all 10 of them.
yeah. Too funny.
So, are you suggesting they've abandoned the reduction? So all of Einstein's things reduced to Newtonian. That's gone now, has it? We've accepted that.
No.
not
That's
that
that's not gone yet. That it's always going to revert to that. But at least they're talking about Einstein. But I want to see him reduce it. I know what they're going to do. It's so funny. But we want them to actually do it because it's their claim that they're supporting. If you're going to support Einstein, then you have to know the equations, right? You have to be able to at least put the equations down, explain them, explain all the variables. That's what you're going to have to do. It's not our claim, it's your claim. So that's regardless of the fairy tale that space-time, a concept, can bend, warp time. Yeah, that's preposterous, ludicrousness, absurdity. But we'll get to that after you're done train wrecking yourself with the equations. Can't wait.
I think that Brian's logic wants to say something about Einstein.
Sure,
He
go
said
ahead.
something in the chat. You're off mute. Can you hear us?
All my life.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Hey, Adam.
Hi, bro.
I posted something earlier in Master B. There's something I was going to read out here, just a small piece of it about bending light, if it would be okay.
Yeah, go ahead.
Bending light. One of the first predictions of general relativity to be tested involved the bending of light because a massive body such as a star warps space-time around it. A light beam passing nearby should be deflected from a straight line path. From Earth, light from a distant star passing near the Sun would be bent in such a way as to alter the apparent position of the distant star. In 1919, astronomers photographed stars near the Sun during a solar eclipse. Comparing the positions of the stars in those photos with nighttime photos taken earlier showed that the stars' positions did appear to shift by about the amount Einstein predicted. Actually, calculations based on Newton's gravity also predicted light bending, but only by half as much as Einstein calculated. General relativity requires twice as much bending because the light ray is bent while passing through space already curved to begin with. What I was going to say about that is I've asked this question a couple of times to the ball community, and I never got any kind of a good answer. Is how did they prove that's not light refraction? Because in their belief, that's in a vacuum, but they haven't proven there's a vacuum. Light refraction would cause that. Why would it not? If there's, in reality, there would have to be atmosphere.
Yeah, but wait a second. We're missing something here. You said at the beginning of that discussion right there, did you say tests? It was tested?
That's where I'd want
written
to.
in the article.
Say that one more time.
Yeah, I'll read at the very first part I was talking about is that one of the first predictions of general relativity to be tested involved the bending of light.
Stop. First of all, okay, you said predictions and tested, so that equals experiment. That equals hypothesis. Did they write the hypothesis in that little, who wrote that?
We'll see
Just
bending
off
of
of,
starlight during
science-
the eclipse.
Hey, Adam, can you hear Brian?
No.
Brian's talking, so.
Sorry, Brian.
This is just off of science.
Hold on one second, Brian.
This is off of sciencenews.org. I posted it in Master B earlier.
All right, Brian.
Okay.
Wait 1 second.
Yes.
All right. Adam, can you hear Brian? Adam.
I think he can't hear you.
Yeah, I see you. I see you there, Adam. I like you just popping up in a window, in a video window on my Discord. That's lovely right there. Can you hear Brian?
No, that's why I've jumped out and come.
Okay,
It was
Brian,
cutting
say
it.
something. See if he could hear you.
Hello, Adam. Can you hear me?
Oh, Brian, can you hear me? Got you now, bro.
I can hear you, Adam. Yes.
All right, now we're
Cool.
good. Brian,
Listen,
go ahead.
Yeah.
You said it came from where?
ScienceNews.org. It was an article about Einstein's genius change. It's called Einstein's Genius Changed Science's Prediction of Gravity. I have it in Master Beta. I posted it earlier.
Did they talk about
There's a
donuts?
section down below it, down a bit on the page.
Did they
called
talk about?
Bending Light,
Did they
the
talk
little
about
book.
donuts? Did they
Up in
talk?
there, I can't hear.
Yeah, did they talk about donuts? Because we have
No.
somebody. We have somebody on screen right now that just went off.
It's just that that is one of their proofs for what they call proofs.
Okay, back to the serious point. Okay, so they said prediction and then test. So that tells me right away that they had an experiment. So to have an experiment, you have to have a hypothesis first. So did they state the hypothesis anywhere in that article? That's what I thought. So it's not a prediction. It's not anything because there is no experiment whatsoever. They could say it, but they sure won't go into it because there isn't one. Yeah, but thanks for that.
I have it, John.
Go ahead.
It's like 10 years ago when I read this. So excuse sketchiness in terms of the experiment. But I remember it was Einstein was trying to get relativity out, and there was position as to ways in which to validate it. The resultant validation was a rush trip to Africa for about 3 blokes with a dodgy telescope, which could not observe what is possibly being suggested to be observed. The equipment wasn't sensitive enough. And like I said, they came back with a result that was close to Einstein's thing. I think it was something to do with the bending of a particular star's light around the sun during an eclipse. It would be visible slightly before or after this eclipse point, and they validated the results. Just a sec, I've got a chicken attacking me. Get out. Sorry. It just jumped upon my lap. Out. As I remember it was that was the thing that was rushed in to validate the hypothesis, to give something to pin it upon. But I remember it was a bullshit thing with equipment that couldn't possibly ever have done it. But that seems to be what they're referring to there. The first thing that comes in, it was just 3 blokes run off to Africa with a telescope.
Yeah. What one of them I think was our good friend Sir Arthur Eddington, wasn't it?
It's well dodgy, isn't it? If you look into it, like I say, it was a while ago, John, but I remember the validation is dubious, and the I don't think there's anybody that would get any credence results, probably based on the quality of the equipment.
Well, I just want I got you with the equipment. I want to see the hypothesis.
If Einstein is correct, and you will see in the eclipse bending of the light from a particular star. We do see the bending of a light from a particular star with shit equipment that couldn't pick it up. Therefore, Einstein is correct.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that one a lot. Yes, sir. That's all they got. So that's what we're going to look for, because actually that's what we're asking everyone for when you start parroting the correct pseudoscience, which is Einstein. We're going to be asking you for the experiments because this is supposed to be science. So we're going to ask you those questions, so you guys better prepare yourselves. Yeah, after the equation, we want to see the equations first, and then you try to solve them for 2 or more masses, right? Masses, you can't define mass. It's a concept, by the way. That's pretty funny. So we're going to have to see the equations first. And after we get done laughing at that, then we're going to get serious on you and ask you for the hypotheses that were validated to confirm this science. That's what we're going to do. So get ready. Gird your loins. Good. Thank you.
Kind of an old expression, isn't it?
Yeah. It's pretty old.
Are people still doing that?
Girding their loins, they better.
All right.
Oh, by the way, before I forget, it's official. It's the official Bash Soundly Week. Just to let you know, you could take your shots at them all week in preparation for the culmination this Saturday on Ballbusters. And you see Ballbusters live ad right now. So before I forgot, made a mental note. So Bash Soundly Week, we got a seat for Soundly too, so he can defend himself. So Soundly, you listening out there, Mr. Planet Orleans Parish? We got a seat for you Saturday, 1 p.m. U.S. Central, 7 p.m. UK. I'll leave this up for a few minutes.
Just pick Brian's brains again before we move on.
What are we going to pick Brian's brain for what?
Well, just on what he was obviously talking about, how to defend this or attack this point with ballers. I think what he was talking about was all of their results are based on the assumption in which the light is transmitting as a vacuum. That it, Brian?
Is that the least of the assumptions?
The fundamental point from what he was saying, the way the ballers are presenting it, to attack it on, rather than the quality of the equipment like I did, you could go on, what's it travelling through?
Yeah, we know what it's not traveling through.
I think what Brian was saying is there's the assumption that it is a vacuum.
Sure.
Therefore, it's not subject to any refraction of whatever tag you'd like to put on that, which validates their ability to observe and have some inference from it in their mind. To me, the point you would take that is, well, it's vacuum. It's between us, that light source, is it? And what else is between us? There's us, an atmosphere, and then what? That's the point I'd probably take it to, Brian.
I don't think they even mentioned it in the article, did they? Isn't it just a given? Brian, hello. Thanks. Go. There you go. Good.
Yeah, no, I only put it out there as that's going to be one of their arguments, a pro Einstein theory of general relativity. But as I said, my first argument against that, because I didn't have the story about Eddington or any of that before, I just said, how do you know it's not light refraction? Because it can't be going through a vacuum, so there has to be atmosphere, and I never got any good response. So what Adam is saying is kind of like true. Well, that was my point.
And is it all about observation of the skies and something? And what does it prove anyway, right?
Nothing.
I mean, all hell can break loose from the skies, but that doesn't mean that we are moving or make out any shape, does it?
Well, no, they don't have anything. They don't have a hypothesis, because this is astronomy or astrophysics or cosmology. It doesn't matter, the three twisted sisters. It doesn't matter. What they're doing is observing and then declaring. That's all they're doing. And then calling it science, right?
Making fairy tales, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not only is that a joke. You can't control it's what you don't know.
Yeah.
And that's just one part of the travesty that's going on here. I mean, you don't know what you don't know, but you just call it science because, I don't know, it's got Einstein's name on it or Arthur Eddington, and it's all hogwash right from the outset. We don't have to work. We just kick our feet up. You say Einstein, we kick our feet up and start lighting stogies. It's empty. There's nothing there.
Yeah. Well, these people must have had that Einstein guy and the other people too much time on their hands to make up stories, right?
No, they can make up stories. And I've spoken about this before. The reason why is that they know the acumen of their target audience, right? So they can get away with just about anything. Put a bunch of initials behind their name, call it science, call themselves scientists, and they can do whatever they want. They can put a paper, right? A 25-page paper with all their equations in it. Who's going to know? No one can, only few people in the world can do the mathematics, and mathematics ain't proven anything. At best, it describes. It's not giving any cause and effect. It's not explaining anything, right? And they just put that out there, and yeah. Bottom line, they parrot the headline, Einstein's general relativity proven, right? That's all it is. It's just second grade linguistic gymnastics.
Yeah, and they're still doing it.
Yep, still doing it. They won't stop doing it. So this brings up a good point. And I did have one of these proof and evidence, because I've been hearing a lot about this lately, that people, the ballers are saying proof isn't evidence. Has anyone heard this before? Yeah.
Loads of times.
I'm trying to figure that out. Proof isn't evidence. And
Yeah,
what is
I think it's more on lawyers and stuff. It's more like in the justice system that they have, they make a sort of a distinction when the defendant is not acquitted yet. And you have to bring evidence, and some of the evidence the judge will accept, and then you have proof. And when the evidence is not accepted, then it's bunk, basically. So evidence is not always proof, they say.
Okay, I see where you're going with that, and I think that's poppycock bollocks. Number one, we're not talking about subjective courtrooms, right? Now, they bring objective evidence in, right? But it's still ultimately, most of it subjective, circumstantial. They have different, terms to, put in front of it. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about scientific evidence, scientific proof. Yes, science proves things. That's why they do it. Right? So evidence, let's take a look at this.
Yeah, but you do understand why they sort of make that distinction. But I think that evidence, you bring evidence because you think that's the truth, right? That's your proof for something. And whether
My
a judge
son says they do it to disprove. Sorry.
Well, hey, Neil, bring that point. Don't let me forget about that. That's a very important point, but I'll go ahead and let Betty finish her thought there.
Yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought.
So
well, the thing with the proof is, yes, the thing with the proof is that you bring a lot of evidence, but you wouldn't bring it up if you think, I would say, if you're going to try to get somebody to prove that someone is innocent, right? So it should be proof, basically. And whether a judge accepts it or not, it's still a proof, right?
Yeah, what I want to get to is the term evidence. If somebody's bringing evidence, right, and they use the term evidence, they said, this is my evidence against you. Even in a courtroom case, let's just entertain that for a moment. If that evidence, in quotes, doesn't prove anything, then it's not bad evidence. It wasn't evidence at all. See it?
Have a bang on that, John.
Yes.
Have a bang on that, Adam.
Agree totally with Betty in terms of the legal side. That's correct, but we're not talking law. Talking in terms of science. So, proof evidence is in of itself substantive. It's proof of whatever it proves, in the sense that if I add acid, this will turn red, etc., or whatever that small thing within science proves. That's what it's proof of. Now, you'll see sometimes is to give a theory and stuff, you'll bring lots of evidences, small things which may be individually correct. You try to evidence something else. Fundamentally, that's building. It doesn't mean that the proof is incorrect. It's your assumption afterwards where you can see falseness if that's what they're trying to build in. But on the fundamental level, on the scientific level, it either proves or disproves it. That comes to the second bit, which I think someone else we want to mention first. But in terms of what a lot of science can fundamentally say, which is a disproof, which helps you progress. That in itself is a proof. For that.
When you disprove something, you ipso facto prove it. That's why we have the null hypothesis, right? That's what your ultimate goal is in science, is to reject or falsify the null hypothesis. The only way you do that is to confirm or validate the alternative hypothesis. So I don't know where you're getting, we attempt to falsify things. Yeah, if you falsify something, you ipso facto prove it. If you falsify that you're not an amoeba, then you prove that you're not an amoeba. Get it? Back to the point of this evidence again.
You're correct.
Yeah. If you brought in evidence just saying the term evidence and it doesn't prove anything, then it wasn't evidence to begin with. You misclassified it.
It was basically a lie.
It was something, but it wasn't evidence. So let's go over this real quick. I have it up on screen, so people in the Discord chat, go ahead and you can look on the YouTube screen. Right? Proof is evidence. This is really simple. Right? From Merriam-Webster, evidence, an outward sign, indication, something that furnishes proof. It's in the definition. From Oxford Dictionary's proof, the first word out of the gate. Evidence. From Collins Dictionary, prove, to test by experiment. I mean, what are we talking about here, people? My word. You just can't make stuff up. If somebody comes and says proof's not evidence, make sure that you're just not getting their explanation. Ask them for a citation. Show that. Right? Don't just let them run off at the mouth with their proof doesn't even go evidence. Right? From right here, they're making stuff up. You can see it plainly. Proof synonyms, confirmation, evidence, validation. We don't prove things in science. Well, according to the nature of science and the scientific method, the experiment, once the hypothesis has been established, it's time to test it. The process of experimentation is what sets science apart from other disciplines. You see that statement right there? The process of experimentation is what sets science apart from other disciplines. That means you need experiment when you have science. And you can't have experiment without hypotheses. So you need hypotheses to get your experiment. So you need those in science, in actual science. But I digress. And it leads to discoveries every day. An experiment is designed to prove or disprove the hypothesis. This is apodictic. This is self-evident. So I don't know what they're trying to do with their little games. We have Dr. Craig Venter, Celera Genomics, National Institutes of Health. You know, there's some things we can do in science in terms of proving certain things in life we discover. You're finished. What can you say to that? This is all self-evident apodictic stuff. And what am I going to hear later on today? Proof isn't evidence. There's no proving in science. You're just making it up. You don't know what these terms mean.
That one's crucial in science, and you said it earlier, and reject the hypothesis. Fundamentally in science, you prove something else. Now, that thing you prove might not be a great deal of use to you. You've still proved it.
Yep.
By the rigorousness of the empirical nature in which you've analysed this. Even in a failed, correctly set up experiment, you prove things, even if you don't prove what you want to prove.
Right. It's never a waste of time. If you have a viable alternative and null hypothesis, let's say you reject the null, or let's say you confirm the null. Well, you just gain knowledge, right? Because if you confirm the null, then that's the default, right? So you've learned something, you've disproven the alternative hypothesis, thereby proving the null. This is second grade, third grade basic reasoning. So
it is a fundamental of science, isn't it? It's a fundamental of how we progress. We don't just randomly throw shit in the air. Disproving stuff is useful to progress. It cuts out pointless routes, and is just as value in the progression of scientific discovery as every experiment working.
Sure. You always learn something, right? Well, it's like one less thing. You know, if the Coriolis effect...
It's one of them fundamentals, John, that, you know, when my blood boils a little bit, to attack like this is just, again, ingenuousness. That's emotiveness.
Yeah,
it is ridiculous.
Right. If you have a hypothesis the Coriolis effect causes scurvy and you disprove that, then that's one less thing. Right? You need to try another independent variable. So you've proven the Coriolis effect doesn't cause scurvy. That is proven. That is established. Right? My word. So science doesn't prove things, right? Let's go through some of these. We'll finish it up. This is a favorite one. I don't know why this one gets so much play. They concentrate on, maybe it's because it's the first one, they can't focus on the other ones. Water boils at 212 degrees Fahrenheit, 100 degrees Celsius at sea level. That's 1 atmosphere of pressure. That's 101.325 kilopascals, or 14.7 psi, or 760 torr. You have to state this in here because temperature and pressure are always related. Right? This is too easy. They've established this. I get ballers saying no. Really? You're just making it up. I guess that you guys should become lawyers. Combustion is the result of oxidation reaction. Information is only caused by intelligent agency. Lack of insulin with type 1 diabetes patients results in diabetic ketoacidosis. That's proven. Without a shadow of a doubt. Lack of vitamin C intake in humans results in scurvy. Back to the scurvy. So it wasn't the Coriolis effect, it was vitamin C. That's proven. Knowledge or existence of the which path information collapses the wave function. We just went over that last week with the delayed choice quantum eraser. This is proven. Scientifically valid. That's it. It's over. Right, and there's a bunch of other ones. These are absolutely true, proven, inviolable, never to be falsified. Right? They're never. And then you say that. I got somebody the other day saying, "Well, if you can't falsify it, then it's not science." Well, we already tried to falsify these in the experiment. It's already done. So you have the wrong emphasis on the wrong syllable. So something has to be falsifiable. These were all falsifiable before the experiment, but after the experiment, now they're validated. Now you can't falsify them. Follow? I know that was a difficult one for you. You might have to go back and re-listen to that. So I don't know, people. I don't know whoever's pushing this stuff. If you catch them out there, fellow flatlanders, hold them to task with this. It's the simple things, right? That they diarrhea the mouth, and then they base all their nonsense off their conflation of proof and evidence, so they can just say, well, science is always changing. Science is always, self-correcting. Does science have a self? So if it's self-correcting, that means the first premise wasn't true to begin with. So what are we doing here? It's a joke, people. I don't know. You know, a lot of flat earthers, I see them. They let the ballers get away with this simple stuff. Stop them. All right, I'm off my soapbox on that one.
Well, didn't Rumpus say back in the day that the whole body of science is behind, and then later on I heard him say that science doesn't prove anything?
Yeah, that's the double-speaking, circle-jerking sewer rat. Yeah, you can't.
Sewer
Those.
rat?
Yeah, that's double-speak. Sometimes they do
Yeah.
it within the same breath.
I think you have a lot of these clips, right, where he does that from the Rumpus.
Are you trying to get me to play some of these clips?
Yeah, actually, I do.
I don't think I have the science one.
Didn't you have one that was really recent?
Yes.
It was pretty good.
The equation, the you can't and then you can.
Oh, you guys want to listen to that one? Hold on a second. You
The one
cut.
I
Why you
almost
lied up that?
interrupted.
I've just got a quick question.
Go ahead.
You go back to some of the proofs there in terms of magnetism and movement of electrons. Proofs there that it's all there. Now, doesn't mean we understand it. It doesn't mean we can't develop any future statements that add more detail. But fundamentally, that statement is never going to be incorrect. That's the point of it. That's what science does. It builds on certainties to allow you to go forward. Those certainties aren't going to be incorrect down the line. Electrons will always do that. There may be other things at play, but electrons will always do that.
Yes. It's showing cause and effect relationships, right? You can go now to go deeper into a theory. You can have more hypotheses that expose the mechanism, right? You can always do that, but the overall point with that specific, and each category, each subject is going to be different, right? It depends on the question that you ask.
The other one's quite a good one. To get to that statement of lack of insulin in type 1 diabetes causes keto. So to get to that, the number of statements of science had to be proven. The number of experiments to get to that, to validate that statement, is immense.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because there's so many little bits, mechanisms in play to get to you to be able to validate that. That's a good example where some experiments, whilst they prove something, because you're misinterpreting in them in another system, make errors. But always the experiment, if validated correct, holds true. But theory, get to that one's a lot more complicated, I think. It requires a lot more separate science to allow it to be validated, but it's all validatable.
Sure.
But unless, of course, the easy way to validate it is to deny a type 1 diabetic their insulin and take the bloods.
Yeah, you don't.
You know what I mean? There is.
I wouldn't suggest doing that.
No, but fundamentally, you could scientifically prove that and then take the bloods and show it. There's a lot of other stuff that underline. You then have to show that's the cause of death. That's the point. You can go into detail, but all of that detail has to be validated to support your theory.
Yes. All right, we ready? Betty, you requested something?
To hear a contradiction made by Rumpus.
All right, let's go. This was just the other day. Let's check it out. I think I date these things, so inside him. Let's see what he has to say. Talking about double-speaking. The double-speaking Dunning-Kruger Rumpus, June 19th, 2020.
Einstein's field equations cannot solve for more than one mass.
Yes, you can't solve them numerically with as an equation, but they...
So you can't solve this little problem that Brian's presented you with Einstein's field equations then? You cannot do it then? That would make you a liar.
You can solve it numerically. You can solve it numerically. Yes, you can't solve them numerically with as an equation. You can solve it numerically. Yes, you can't solve them numerically with as an equation.
The double. Yeah. So there's we got that one. So you can solve them numerically, and then you can't solve them numerically. You like that?
Yeah. With an equation. That's the only part that was missing the second time. I don't know how he does it another way without an equation. Right?
That's the typical doublespeak that we hear. That comes. It's not only rumpus. It's what we hear day in and day out. Some to a lesser degree, some to a more degree. Like I said, in the very next breath, it'll come.
Yeah.
And then when
I
you
hear it.
Go ahead.
I hear it today. I mean, I hear it nowadays with these mouth masks that people have to wear because of the germs. But previously they said it doesn't help, right? And now they say it does help. And then they say, well, it doesn't help, but still wear them. And it's all throughout society, right? With and it's all those so-called scientists that say that, right? It's amazing. You can find that easily if people are sort of indoctrinated by half truths, right? Because one of the things must be true, right? Either it's good to wear a mask or it's bad for you. I'd say. So, yeah.
I'd say, you want a surgeon wearing a mask operating on you. Masks prevent the person, the infection, spreading or limit ability to spread by catching respiratory droplets. Don't do is stop you getting it, like a klutz, your hand on respiratory droplets and touch your face and all that sort of stuff. Whether you're wearing a mask or not, irrelevant. If you become in contact with it, the risk rate is kind of immaterial. It doesn't make a great deal of difference because very few people come up to you and sneeze in your face. But if you touch the areas where they've sneezed, that's where you're at risk. But a mask doesn't stop that. Neither do gloves. You still then touch your face with the gloves on. What it does do, any logic is, like I say, you'd have a surgeon. You don't want him sneezing in you. You're open. So that is its limit of use, but it's not to protect you.
Adam, are you frying some schnitzel in the background?
It's Marie. She's watering the garden. If you want to know the truth, what she's doing right now is blasting the chicken poo. I let them out. So
that's more information that we should know.
I will mute while she continues.
Cool.
So you got these fluffy chickens.
Oh, the fluffy chicken chucker.
Now we know who it is.
All right, Betty, check this out. I'm going to hand over the reins to you for like 2 minutes. I have to take care of something. So you are in charge of the show for 2 minutes.
Oh, good gracious.
I love it. I'm going to take the temperature of the chat when I get back and see how well you're done. So the con is yours. The con's yours.
No, don't leave me alone here. Oh my God. Okay, people.
You are not alone, Betty. You are not alone.
Oh, thanks, Neil. I'm glad you're here but about the face mask, by the way, because Adam brought that up with the medical face mask. Those seem to work, right? But they say to us in Holland about the face masks that we can't wear the medical ones. Those are for the people in the hospitals, and they don't want to get a shortage of them. But they do say you have to wear a face mask in the train or in some public transportation thing. But they don't work. So that's, I think, doublespeak, right? So
they just caught Fauci saying that, and he said the reason why he said to wear not that the masks were no good was because he didn't want the public buying up all the masks and then the medical field not having any. So that's why he said it. There's a reason why he lied.
Yeah. Well, we get that same narrative, and people say that there is not something like a grand conspiracy or behind the scene thing going on, but every country seems to be on the same thing in this case, right? And that amazes me. I don't understand that.
There's a
I-
huge
I think they
disconnect,
are.
Ray.
Sorry, Adam, what did you say?
So there's a huge disconnect, as I was probably not there enough in pointing out, between validation for why you should wear it, and which is it will save your life, reality, and the function it would serve in any communicable disease. Who don't hurry up. I think honesty in that is the thing. Many things, as the state and media tell us. What we notice is the obvious lie, the disconnect between you're saying its purpose and its relative use. Why, but what we're being told to wear it for. I think there'll probably be that's outside of whether it's real or not. Is a complete disconnect there between why we're being told to wear it and hopefully what I outlined the validation for wearing it, which is makes some sense. In the old days, in the war, they had phrases like "often sneezers spread diseases, catch them in your handkerchiefs." So common bloody sense, but that's kind of what's going off.
Yeah. Well, now they
from
say
a
they have
medical point of view, that I say, but all the fear porn that's then attached to it and the mandatoriness of it, that's a real concern because that's civil liberties. It's not mandated upon us to prevent airborne disease. Do you know what I mean? You can't mitigate for that, and that's a strange, concerning civil liberties logic that's being applied at the moment. The onus is being put on individual to prevent transmission in some way. Seen it legislated for, and that's the concern for me with it, not necessarily even the medical sense, because it does make a bit of sense if there's something there you want to stop in the common. I mean,
Yeah.
so it's the disconnect, lies that we're always told.
All right, I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm back.
All right. Yeah. Wait, I'm
The new
getting
queen, long live the queen.
Too funny. So how'd she do, guys?
A+.
My vote. You're done, mate.
I can't wait. I can't wait to hear this back. We got a couple new. Sorry to interrupt. We got a couple new people in here. Stacy B, what's up, girl?
Hi, honey. Sorry, I was trying to get to the mic part. I'm doing good. Apparently, I'm arguing, cooking, and doing dishes all at the same time. What am I doing?
Well, multitasking, that's for sure.
Apparently so. Yeah.
What's new
That's
with you?
what
Any
women are
new
good at.
arguments that you've heard? Anything recent that's come up? Anything that
Hmm.
stands out to you? Go ahead.
Just the whole Jim Panda and the 60 miles I could see too far, and the experiment for sugar water was a good one for me. I guess we live in sugar water. That's the experiment that they're going to give us. That's valid reason that you could see light bend like that. So interesting that they give that as their proof. But yeah, I've not had any proof yet of the globe. Still waiting.
So sugar water proves what?
Sugar water medium, I guess, proves how light can bend to possibly why we see 60 miles and we see that, Chicago skyline and stuff. So that's his reasoning, his experiment. The closest he can give to me is an experiment that was done in sugar water in a tank. Yeah, looking above.
So the laser was outside the sugar tank, coming through the glass of the fish tank into sugar water, huh?
Apparently, he never showed it to me, but just talked about it.
Unbelievable. You're good to go, Dave.
This is what we've come to. That's their final, drawing to their proof. They're looking for anything.
So what you're saying is they're in the death throes.
Pretty much. Yep.
I love it. Thank you for being on board.
Can't help but to be on board because I'm still waiting for any proof for the globe.
Well, maybe
It's not like I have to defend it. They need to defend it because that's their model. That's what was told to us. And it's insanity.
Maybe they have some in here. Maybe we can deal with some in here. Betty, do you mind if I search out some globe proof?
Are you going to search out some globe proof?
I am.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So we're going to search through because we have a few people in here. Wealthian. Well, how do you say your name?
Oh, Wealthane?
Wealthane?
Yeah, Wealthane. I'm just here listening. Love the show. I've got nothing to say.
Oh, appreciate it. Okay. Yeah.
Are you a glober, by the way, or are you a flat earther?
Oh, I'm flat Earth.
Okay, then I will change your roles.
Thank you.
Okay.
That's the first time I think I saw the name, so that's why I immediately went there.
Yeah, people get the basic glober as a sort of a default name role when they get in. So sometimes it's not real, right?
Not many Globers left.
That's what I've been noticing. Yeah. Seems
Oh,
like they're trying to gather as a team and figure something out.
We got Enigma. Maybe Enigma has something to say. Hi, Enigma. Are you there? You might be just listening to.
Let's try presumption of reality. That spaghetti eating. Hey, presumption. What's up, man?
Yo, what's up?
How was that spaghetti?
Yeah, it's good, man.
Yeah, homemade?
But no. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Yeah. I want to spend some time on the spaghetti. So, okay, do you have meat? What's in the sauce?
It wasn't really. It was just onions chopped up, mince cooked in it, olives. I chucked some olives in there, actually. You know, just for a change. I don't think she put mushrooms in though. She
No
forgot
mushrooms?
The mushrooms.
Do not
She
put
forgot the
mushrooms in
mushrooms.
sauce. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me? No mushrooms in a darn spaghetti sauce? Neil, you need to go on mute.
John,
Slacking.
you cannot put mushrooms in the spaghetti sauce. Are you kidding me? That's it. You're banned.
Get out of my
Neil,
kitchen.
you can't put mushrooms in ragu.
Ragu. Oh, Lord. Okay, what else did you put on? You have any garlic toast, garlic bread? You throw some garlic in there or what?
Yeah, put some garlic puree in, garlic granules, and I chucked a shitload of cheese on after.
What kind of cheese?
Extra mature cheddar.
Cheddar cheese on spaghetti?
Damn fucking right.
Listen to you. Watch out with the F words there, brother. This is a family show.
Oops, my
Go
bad.
just for the cheddar cheese. He's got to go.
All right. We're off the spaghetti. I know this was riveting for everyone out there in the chat and on YouTube.
I thought you were going to take it to spaghettification.
Spaghettification. I could have done that. Look at you, you old slide dog. You. All right. Do you have any globe proof?
Yeah, I presume, therefore it's real.
I've seen pictures of it.
Yeah, you seen pictures? Are they actual pictures? That's a good one now. We're going back to 2015 arguments. Are they pictures? Are you saying photographs?
Paintings or pictures?
Aha.
Images.
Of pictures.
This is a really important point because a lot of them, and I think I just heard that yesterday. Somebody, I can't remember what I was listening to, and they said, well, yeah, we got all the evidence in the world. Not proof, evidence. We got all the evidence in the world. We have pictures from space. No, you don't. You don't have any pictures because you don't know what pictures are. Because you have no photographs from space there, friend. Number one, it's second law of thermodynamics violation. No one's going out to Narnia to take any pictures. Number two, they're not actual photographs. So you have to start paying attention. I'm trying to help you out, ballers, so you don't get jacked up as soon as you open up that incoherent pie hole. So you have to be very careful in the words that you use. Okay?
I hate the word pie hole.
Sorry about that.
Sorry.
Could I say something on that?
No.
Sure. Yeah, come on.
yeah, go ahead.
Just something quick, something I used to say to the ballers back years ago, and none of them wanted to hear it. Michael Collins, who was the fourth man to supposedly walk on the supposed moon, was a photorealism painter. And if you look at his paintings and just take out the foreground and leave in the backgrounds, it looks exactly like what we were shown back in 1969.
You said that was Michael Collins?
Yeah, he was a photorealism painter. He used to paint the moon and the earth and all this photorealism.
It wasn't too long after I entered the community, and Betty just brought it up. It was picture or painting, right?
Yeah, that's Math Powland. He's
Math
also
Powland, yeah.
realistic. He's also a realistic painter. He could do it easily.
I think there was
Yeah,
a couple
I like-
of them, right, that they come out with videos. I know Math did it once, and I think a few other people did it too, and it was like a test. They'd put them up on screen and then ask you, picture or painting? I didn't get any of them right.
Yeah, you would.
Thank you. Honey!
Well, most people don't even know perspective. So when some people can paint realistically, they don't even know that it's possible.
Yeah,
You
this
know?
perspective has been coming up. Yeah,
You
yeah.
have these real good painters that can do street paintings on the pavement, and it looks like when you're standing on some point that you're like about to go over a cliff. And but if you change positions, then you can see that it's a painting on the pavement, right? So
It's called Trompe l'oeil. It's a French term.
yeah, trompe-l'oeil. Yeah.
I
That's
don't
good.
know how to pronounce it. It's French.
Yeah, sort of a see-through. Yeah. It's really good, and most art is also being distorted by these elite people because of these stupid how would you say, Picasso with his blocked faces and stuff. I mean, we had
Abstract.
really artistic people back in years ago that painted really beautiful painting like Michelangelo and whatever. Yeah, all these classical painters were very good. And now we got people that think that drawing like a little kid is art. I mean,
Are they stupid?
they are pretty stupid. Pretty stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's why people don't know anything anymore about where they live. I mean, once I got out of that's the first thing that got me also from the ball to the flat earth was the perspective thing. I thought, yeah, that's it. That's why I always had a problem with it, with certain things. And why do we want to have our houses level? What's the point if we're still living on a ball? We would go either side, right? It will always be round. It didn't make sense to me at all, right? So I think that people should be sort of getting more creative and go to art class. Art class.
Art class? Go ahead, Rebel.
Yeah.
You came off mute. Go ahead. Anything to add?
We can see some green that you tried to talk, but
Hey, Rebel, jump
Can't
out
hear
and
you.
jump back in again.
yeah, maybe that's it.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm just
Sometimes.
on what,
Go ahead, Adam.
so just on what Brian was alluding to there. Going back to 2015, the of imagery, blue marble being a painting, as we said, and what we're being shown. But what greater proof than the Himawari 8 that gives you a fresh painting, technically in like hallucinogenic technicism, and what the ballers seem to accept and has been going back to 2015 presented when you threw the blue marble at them was that no, look now, got nonsense CGI, but every 15 minutes. So the repetition validates it. Not live, is it?
Right. Exactly. Just do it over and over again. You got it. You got it, Adam. Rebel, go ahead. We got you now. Go ahead.
Hey, good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
So yeah, speaking of painting pictures, graphic designer by trade. I remember back in college times, it was 2006, 2007, when I quickly into UFOs and Mars and all. Sort of my gateway to everything conspiracy. But I remember pulling images from NASA's website directly into Photoshop.
Yep.
And just adjusting colors by just setting into auto, and just been blown away completely by the fact that pretty much every red image that they had of Mars turned out to be just nothing but blue skies and just normal looking ground, dirt. And knowing how the software works, I was very puzzled back then as to what I was seeing. Since then, they've changed all the images. They kind of learned to apply filters better, so you don't get any RGB values left. So if you try and do it now, I doubt there will be anything out of it.
Yeah.
But
I remember doing it myself.
To flat Earth essentially was sorry.
Sorry about that. Sorry for the interruption. I remember doing it myself after somebody stated that the pictures from the Mars rover were taken with the Sony CyberShot U.
Right. that was a camera, right?
Yeah, that was a common camera you get for like $5 at the secondhand store.
Right. No, the whole thing is ridiculous. That's the thing. Someone I know, not personally, but from flat Earth circles, Dave Wise, saying maybe it's not him, maybe Crow, saying that believing a lie is very easy. You hear it from NASA, like, oh, okay, that's pretty cool. That's very strange, but all right, whatever. What do I know? But to question it, right, requires work, like bringing pictures in software and analyzing them, right? Not many people have time or mental energy to do that, or even desire. I was also going to say, like, my gateway drug to flat Earth was realizing that moon landings hoax basically.
Sure.
And that's what I find common for most people. Before I even start the conversation about flat Earth, I would just query about, what do you think about a moon landing? And if people adamantly state, oh yeah, it's 100% happened, I don't even go to flat Earth side. I would just stay on moon landing for as long as I have to get them to realize that this is a scam. And if I'm successful, only then I'll move on to shape of the Earth and the reality and whatnot. I don't know what is your experience, but
now, well, before I get to that, you said I heard you talk about you said you have a education in graphic design. Is that correct?
Correct.
Did you say that you were looking at these photos when?
That was back in college. It was 2007, I would say, maybe 2008.
Wow. And then you noticed the anomalies or the aberrations then?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Jeez. That's the earliest. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, that's when I started looking into, okay, what the hell NASA is doing. Because I knew from like going probably over 5 or 10 images that what I was looking at was complete fabrication. And so I had to, because back then I believed pretty much everything that I was saying, except for denying the mysteries of UFOs and aliens and stuff. So I was like, okay, well, I knew there's some kind of shenanigans going on, but why would they do this? Right?
Right.
To me, it was a hook. So I started basically tumbling down the rabbit hole since then. And flat Earth was introduced to To me, probably with the first video by Mark Sargent, Flat Earth Clues, and then it hit me, and I'm like, oh man, that explains so much.
Right. So everything came together for you from back, wow, 2007, 2008. That's one of the earliest renditions I've heard yet. Now, you were just going after the moon landings. I understand that, right? But you noticed the more or less photo forensics you were doing in 2007, 2008.
Yeah, yeah. And later on, I started looking at the more in depth of the photographs, and I got into photography, like one of the core photography for me. And the first thing you learn in photography is lighting, right? Lighting is everything. And as soon as you learn that, you get like a couple of classes to figure out, what lights to use, different characteristics of lights, ambient, direct, focus, blah, 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 filters. You come across the picture of really any shot of the moon landings. Number one question pops into your mind is like, how is that possible in a natural environment? Because lightings and shadows just don't match up. Save for the fact that the very first thing to me was very, very odd is the color, which is the absence of color for the dirt, right? Alleged dirt on the moon. Because to me, I grew up in desert. I was born in post-Soviet territory, a country called Turkmenistan. If you guys want to entertain yourself with the absurdity of surrealism that's present in our world, check out the country called Turkmenistan.
Go, say that louder, sir.
Which part?
The country. I didn't get the country. I don't think the audience
The
did.
country name. The country name is called Turkmenistan. It's like Turkey, but you add Menistan after. Turkmenistan.
Okay.
It's one of the post-Soviet Union republics that used to comprise Soviet Union. There were 15. And there's a bunch of stands on the south side of Russia. So basically, I'm from one of them. It's a very deserty area. Bunch of nomads, being colonized by Soviet Union Russia. So you find lots of different ethnicities living there, and so I'm very familiar with like a deserty terrain myself, and just different kinds of rocks because I used to climb a lot. And forwarding back to my college times, looking at after taking photography courses, looking at shots of the moon landings. Besides the lighting problems, the first thing that pops into my mind I was very curious about is the color, which is the absence of color, which is impossible in any natural environment. I don't care if you're living in a sphere, on the flat, or cube, or triangle, whatever. There's always a color. And if they shot anything with a color camera, which they did, Hasselblad, I believe, carried the colored film. If you go along with that story, bringing any of those pictures into the software, modern software, will get you colors. Absence of colors is impossible in nature. That I know with 100% certainty. So to me, that was very peculiar. So I knew those shots were doctored right away. So I didn't understand why they were doctored. And then I went into, analyzing lighting and shadows. And of course, that was all turned out to be doctored and staged. And, many years later, you see documentaries about moon landing with people going to the top professionals in the field of photography, being put those pictures in front of them and asking them, what do you think? And they'll flat out tell you that's impossible with a single source light. And I'm talking about like very renowned names in photography. So to me, that was all confirmed many, many times over. Just hold on a second, Mike. I'll go on mute. I'll be back.
Yeah, that's very interesting, Rebel. That's the first time we had talked, and Very, very interesting, sir. I was really intrigued by the date that you said, 2007, 2008. That's the earliest that I've run across personally. Anyone else here? Any earlier?
I think Nathan had someone that was about the same time, was it? But it was someone that was sort of counter flat Earth, and he tried to sort of battle it. It was flat Earth math in that time.
Oh,
was
that's
also
right.
battling a couple of these people.
Well, I have to correct you. I'm sorry, Betty, to interrupt. I didn't enter to flat Earth in the time frame I mentioned. I'm talking about questioning moon landing.
Oh, yes. We were. Yeah, we knew that. Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure that.
Yeah,
I'm
you
clear
didn't put
about
it together because you were searching. You understood that there was funny business going on. It was patently obvious to you, but you didn't,
absolutely.
You didn't
Yeah.
put it. You didn't put it together until you know the flat Earth really came out, and then it started to make sense to you. Is that correct?
Yeah. And one other thing to add is the reason. One other reason I mentioned that I'm from where I am. I'm living in Canada right now, and I've been living here since 2005. Like, I'm a musician by trade, and blah blah blah. So I had many specialties in my life. I had to retrain myself to survive. But the reason I left the country was a very political, very hard, tough situation. So back then, and I left the country in 2001. I started questioning. So I was about 21, same birth year as Nathan. I actually just turned 40. My birthday is today. So I turned 40.
Oh, happy birthday. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Betty, you'll sing happy birthday at the end of the show.
Yeah.
Okay. No pressure. Don't have to. So I start questioning a lot because I found myself survived first collapse of Soviet Union in 1991, the stuff we had to go through surviving, and then sort of fleeing the country in 2001, 10 years later. To me, the world basically was upside down. I couldn't speak to anybody on a common language because I knew things about certain political issues most people weren't even aware of. So to me, that was like the first introduction to what you think you know is extremely hard to translate to people who have no experience at all in the same sort of situation. And my mindset was to question everything since that time. And so that dovetails to the fact that I sort of, anything I looked at, whether it's a news story, some statistics, a NASA comes out with an article or something, I would always question it, just because I just couldn't afford to trust anything I hear just because somebody said that, no matter what the authority is. So anyway, I was just trying to point out that the nature of my sort of view of the world is I question everything. And I guess that helped me in realizing certain aspects of the reality, moon landings, and all the shenanigans that NASA's into, political situation, Russia, US, you name it. Historical issues, we have plenty of, and culminating into flat Earth. So this kind of all ties in together, for me at least.
So you speak Russian as well, then?
Yes, I do.
So you is there any sort of flat Earth movement in that sort of part of the world?
Not that I'm familiar with, but I'm sure there is, because I've seen videos translated to Russia having lots of hits on YouTube concerning flat Earth.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be surprised if the movement there is much bigger than in US.
Bigger?
I wouldn't be surprised, yeah. I can't confirm that.
Okay.
Inherently, Russians don't trust Americans. So if you begin with NASA, just like I did, and nothing against Americans, by the way. I love the Western world, and that's why I'm here.
Yeah, all Americans' lives matter, right?
Yes, absolutely. All lives matter.
Exactly.
But yeah, so actually, to be perfectly frank with you, it wasn't even the NASA that I had questions with in the first place. It was the first man in the orbit, which is Yuri Gagarin. I remember reading an article and then subsequent documentary about his life, and it did not make sense to me at all. The guy was in a constant state of depression, alcoholic, running away, saying crazy stuff to his parents, to his friends. But yet he was propped up as a national hero by Soviet Union, Communist Party, as basically like a token to prop around. And the guy basically wasn't happy and he had something wrong with his psyche. And I remember vividly back in Soviet Union school, we've been shown the reels of Gagarin in space and the black and white and stuff. And I started to picture it back by memory and trying to figure out, okay, well, the guy looks so happy in those videos, national hero. How on earth can you be so depressed and nihilistic, just batshit crazy? So the two did not meet in my mind. Like I think from there I start questioning, okay, something is wrong. There's something else in the story that I don't know about. I started questioning Russian space program, actually the first. And once I understood that there's some impossibilities to do with Gagarin ever being in space, I think that's when I started looking into NASA. Because, you'd think, okay, well, Russia, if they being funny about their business about space, well, Americans would have called them out. Of course, they didn't. It's like stalemate, right? Neither party calls the other party out. But that was back then, sort of my type of thinking. Right now, I know it's all the same kind of a group of people. We'll call it they. There's really no division at that level. No separation. You still there?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and since then, I started basically, I knew that Gagarin never went to space. And his life story sort of correlated to the story of first man on the moon, which was,
Armstrong.
what's his face? Armstrong, yes, the alien.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that there was the Cold War, and there was sort of Russia and America was sort of in a race to win some sort of a quest, right, to the moon, and
that's what we were told. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know that there's something behind this, that it's all bunk, basically.
At this point, I absolutely believe that. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, in regards to Cold War, my thinking is, you care to know, that if you think deeply about it, and if you take into consideration what's called the game theory, and especially for those who've been in the military, I haven't been myself in the military, but I knew some people in the military and positions of that require secret clearances and whatnot. That if you think of it logically, having, let's say, a nuclear program, let's say you are Russia, you have a nuclear program, and Americans have a nuclear program, or you know at least have some kind of a weapon program, mass destruction weapon program. Well, there is a dilemma if you think about it. The dilemma is, if you trying to create countermeasures for what you think the other side is developing, you basically you're guessing at that point, and then essentially what happens is you realize that you're fucked. Pardon my French, because if you were trying to develop countermeasures against the weapons you know nothing about, as soon as the war starts, you basically 50-50 at that point, because you've developed countermeasures against weapons that may not even exist. So to me, that was inevitable that two sides had to cooperate on the highest levels and share the technology in order to ensure that they had weapons that, because accidents happens, regardless. Somebody fired some nukes. The other side had to know what type of nukes, what type of rockets, so they can shoot them down. Before they do that, they had to develop the weapons, right? So they had to absolutely, necessitatively so, share everything about the tech.
Yeah.
So now, knowing that, and then seeing the other sort of a screen, side of the screen of the movie that's being played, saying, okay, well, there's two opposing sides, what Americans and Russians told. And you understand that this is just all propaganda. At the highest level, that's just nonsense. I mean, you don't have to even go far and look at the so-called international space stations. These two countries are collaborating regardless
Yeah,
of
exactly. How can
political
that be?
situation. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So
Is
to
it
me, I understood early
Turkmenistan?
on there's gains. I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, is Turkmenistan? I think I'm in the wrong with Kazakhstan, where they have that base where they sort of come back to
Yeah, it's a
these
neighboring country.
astronauts.
It's a
Yeah,
neighboring country, yeah.
it's also in the middle of the desert. Nobody can go there and verify whether these people come down from space to Earth, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's all hush hush. You know, the videos that you get, it's just as big of a propaganda as here in the United States.
Exactly. Yeah. May I ask you a question? If there might be in the future a war between Russia and America, would you believe in that? In the sense that it would be really a war between countries, or do you think that there would be, because they are sort of making Russia now to be a sort of big enemy of the wicked witch of the east, basically.
No, I got you. To answer your question, I'd say absolutely unequivocally no. It would be something that has been sold to masses to rile them up, for a certain goal, which what it would be. But at the highest level, it is absolutely certain to me, at least, that it is all just a game.
It's a game, yeah. The whole world is a theater, right? So Shakespeare was right?
Oh yeah.
Rebel.
Working together.
Hey, that's very interesting. You got a great story, man.
Yeah.
And
exactly.
make sure you come back. But we're gonna have to wrap things up for today.
Yeah, I got two super chats to shout out, by the way. So
go ahead.
Yeah, so I got one from a namesake, John M. And he says, "We are winning the war step by step. Great, John. Great work, John." And then a smiley face. And we got another super chat from Billy Waza, and he says, "QE," and then ... curvature eraser. So curvature eraser.
Curvature eraser. Love it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Anything else to wrap up, Eddie?
Nope. No, I love the story also about I like countries, I like the cultures, and I like stories about people moving and knowing things about their culture and I mean, we don't hear much about the whole Russia side or Turkmenistan and those countries. So it's nice to hear a word, and I don't even have heard an accent. I think I have more of a pronounced accent than you have. So great. So I love that story. I love to hear how people got to flat Earth, and I think that there are many ways to get there. Right? Some people get through the moon landings, and other people through perspective, pictures, and that sort of thing. So great to hear this.
Yeah,
thanks, and good to be here.
It was an outstanding story, and make sure, Rebel, that you stick around in the server because I think you have a lot of good information to share. All right. Got to wrap things up. I want to thank all the guests. Like I said, I didn't know what was going to happen. I don't know. I mean, we went over soccer and spaghetti and centipedes and mongooses. So I don't know where you can find that here on YouTube all in one show. So take no prisoners. No quarter will be asked. None shall be given. And remember, I'll be back.